Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. It's John and Jenna with Flippin' Ain't Easy. And quite an uneventful weekend, I'd say. Sales were kind of just blah. And then here we go again. Okay. You'd think that you'd stop doing that, but okay. So hopefully you guys had, or you out there had a great weekend. I cannot complain. It was very, very busy. Father's Day was just yet another work day, maybe an abbreviated one, but still I had to pick up a lot of stuff. And you guys can see behind me, we have the toilet seats that we were talking about. Now that's the challenge that I have right now in my store is not so much the sales are kind of falling off the last couple of days. The weekend was just sort of blah, and today isn't so great. It's trying to figure out for me the price point for these things, because I haven't. I think I have 30 of the blues listed. I have 10 of the orange, and I have like 40 more that I haven't even put into my store yet. And I just update the listing to do that. It's not a big deal. Trying to find the actual price point where I can maybe sell one or two a day, maybe one a day, or maybe even every other day sell one of these things. So I guess I didn't consider the fact that there are previous solds for the colorways that I have. But if you think about it, either a blue or an orange toilet seat generally isn't someone's first choice for a colorway. It's just not, what's the right word? Cute.
I mean, if I were to pick one, I'd pick the blue one.
But that's just it. If that's all that people had to choose from, these would probably be half gone by now. But there's other more neutral colorways like grays or whites, maybe even like a grayish blue color, but like a really tealish blue or a Caltrans orange color. It's just not it. So
I think if you need one, you need one. It doesn't matter what color.
Yeah, but that's where the price point comes in. So now I'm competing with those other colorways, and I may just have to come down a little bit on the price. I'll give it a few more days. But if I don't see any more action, I'm going to come down a little bit. Now, the topic at hand is this question, and I have a question for you. Can you replace a full-time income with low STR, that's sell-through rate, low sell-through rate items, and or you can kind of I would say interchange them, but you don't have to for this question. But low sell-through rate or low ASP, because you can't. They're not the same. Low SP that's average sale price, can be really in high demand, right? And then you can have high ASP, but nobody wants the thing, right? So I guess let's just stick with low sell-through rate is the question. So can you succeed with low sell-through rate items on this platform? That's what I want to know. Now, I know that there's been many folks that have. So the answer that I'm giving you from my experience is yes, you can. It is certainly possible, and it is happening right now as we speak. We tried it, right? Our volume of items we didn't have enough inventory or space, for that matter, for the type of stuff we were trying to sell to make that work. So we had to seek out more needs than wants type items, and actually higher demand, and in turn higher ASP stuff to make what we do work. And I can tell you that I'm making more now than I did when I worked when we both worked at our our 9-to-5. So the question, though, that I really have for you is, can somebody make low sell-through rate work? But I guess I kind of answer that question. The reason why, and I think I get a lot of flack for this. I think I'm somewhat polarizing, because people hear kind of what they want to hear, and I've never said it can't work, low sell-through rate. But I guess what the point that people are missing is you have to invest so much time to build up a store. You have to have volume. You have to sell in volume to make low value, low sell-through rate kind of item work, because you're not getting the level of sales on your items. Now, I do believe that if you have the lower the sell-through rate of an item collectively in your store, it can hurt your overall store's performance. And well, what makes me say that? Because I lived that life. We've tried to go that route, and it didn't work so great. We've tried combining. We actually split stores, right? Got the good stuff in this one store, the crappy stuff in the other store. Good store took off, crappy store just still stayed the same. We tried to combine the two stores, because we just wanted to deal with one store. Well, guess what? Those good items that I had in that store back in January kind of just died, right? They were selling, but not quite the same. Removed them, and within a week, my store was firing on all cylinders again. So it's not anywhere written. Like, we like to show me the where it says this, show me where it says that this is the thing. But when you actually go in and do it and experiment and get the data for yourself, you tend to become a believer. And I'm only a very small sample size. I realize that. But in my mind, I've done it, been there, and I've seen it for myself, that what we do is optimal for us and the type of space that we have in this house. And that's where we sell out of our home. We have a 2-car garage. That's where most of the items are. We have this room, which I do a lot of eBay, but it's also coupling as a storage area. We have a rack right next to me and these boxes. And we have the other room, which is a shipping area. It has all the shipping supplies. There's a couple racks in there full of like boxes and poly mailers and tape and stuff. Well, tape's coming. An area where you can maybe do a little bit of work. If you need to do some quick photos, you can do them there. And then, of course, the table layout. So we are very confined with the space that we have to work with. The idea for us building up a store, if I was just to go out and buy random things and sell because other people do that, I would actually have to have a warehouse or a couple of storage units, like many people who do pull that off do have many storage units that they can store a lot of this stuff. So I think the biggest problem for me is you have a lot of these channels that they show you that, yes, they're making a lot of money, they're doing well with these type of stores, and it gives the newer, more impressionable sellers who are just trying to figure this question out. Can I replace my income with reselling? And they see someone doing that, and nobody on the other side of the camera is saying, hey guys, look, this took me a lot of money. We're talking sometimes many thousands of dollars to invest in such a large inventory, that you finally get a large inventory and you kind of churn it out, but it does take a while too, time as well. So someone quits their job thinking that, hey, this guy on YouTube did it. I can go down here to the local bins or whatever and start buying this stuff and put it up on eBay, and I don't have to work for anyone again. And that's just not reality. That is just not reality. So I was looking at my store. I have about $15,000 in value that I put in there. I'm now over 200 items in my store through the listing and stuff that I've been doing, but that's not a huge store. But I have $15,000 in value in that store, and yet I'm making about that much, $14,000 this last 31 days in sales through only about 200 items in my store. And she has like 140 in her store. I think our max is somewhere around 400 to maybe 500 items total between the two stores. And I was looking at it before the live started, and I have only about $1,500 in actual cost of goods. I'd say it's about 10% is where I'm at from where I buy the item for to what I end up selling. And that's before shipping. Shipping is added to all this. So it's not even in the equation as far as I'm concerned. So that, to me, to say to somebody, hey, if you're trying to resell, to start this thing, to make it work, you need to really be careful about what you buy. Try to buy, if you can, 10x what you have. Like if you have $1, try to sell it for at least 10 or more. I mean, to me, it's 15 to 20, but that's just a starting point. And make that your model. And you don't have to go out and have thousands of items to make this work to replace an income. But I think the mistake that people make is they don't know how to do that. And they're stuck just buying everything. And they find that everything is not enough. They're making some sales, but they're just not getting enough money to even consider quitting their job or to replace an income. So I want to know what you guys think on that. It's something that I think about a lot. I get people that give me a lot of flack, though. I had somebody in Primo Chemo's live stream that he's been on the channel many times in the chat. Anybody who knows what I'm talking about, this guy likes to just type and type and type and type, and he thinks that everyone wants to read War and Peace in the chat or in the comments, and we really don't. It's like, say what you have to say in a few sentences and make your point that way. But to say to me that I don't listen, no, I do listen. I do listen. And if there was a way to make, I'll just buy whatever I want to work, then, if I wanted to buy CDs, if I wanted to buy DVDs, if I want to buy VHS, if I want to buy old comic books, things like that a lot of people love, if I could do that, I've already tried to make a lot of that work, and it just doesn't work for me. But many people are in my boat, more so than the person that does have 3 or 4 storage units sitting around or have extra bedrooms in their house. Like Archie, he could probably pull that off. He's got like a 4-bedroom house that he lives in by himself. He could probably make something like that work if he wished to really ramp up his operation. But even then, you can ask Archie. He's got a couple hundred items in his store. He could actually bump that up to 1,000 or 2,000 items. And you know what? It's going to cost a pretty good chunk of change to get that type of a store in just going out and buying stuff. So there's a lot of factors I think a lot of people don't consider. And those of you who actually have these large stores that sell low sell-through rate, that really are making it work, if we're being honest, I think we can agree that it's cost you a lot of time in putting that store together, and it's cost you a lot of money in buying stuff. Even $1 here, 50 cents there, it all adds up, especially if you're dealing with like 5,000-10,000 plus items in your store. So let's see who we have here. We've got Mr. Sadie says yes is the short answer. And of course, I don't give you short answers on this program. I give you the answer that's kind of long-winded because there's a lot that's attached to it. But I agree with that. It is certainly possible. Mike Camperley says, hi, John and Jenna and FA family. Regarding the question, I think you can. Volume would be necessary. I think I mix high ASP with low ASP goods in my store to create a diversity of sale items. It is certainly possible, like I said. But the average person that's just tuning into these videos, and I think that's why I take such exception to it, because I feel like, as YouTubers, we should be helping people, at least with the information we give, at least give all the caveats to what we're doing. And I see a lot of these channels that, oh, hey, I picked this up at the bins today for $1. I sold it for 20. And, I got this other thing that I've had for, 2 years and I sold it for 50. I don't think we really do a good job collectively on the YouTube side of things to tell the viewer that this is a grind. There is a lot of money that goes into these stores. There's a lot of time and inventory that just sits and sits and sits. And then, it does, I feel bad for the people that do quit their job, just on these videos by themselves, really thinking that they can do it. And it's just not the same. So the reality, someone on YouTube doing it is not the same thing as Joe Blow down the street just trying it. It's just not. Glenda says, hi, John and Jenna and wonderfully wise FAE family. To answer your question, I don't replace my work income, but being released from burnout, being on call 24/7 is worth it to me. And everyone has their own reasons for it. Like you have your hobby sellers that, look, I don't care how much I'm making on this. I'm just doing it because I enjoy reselling. I enjoy what I'm reselling. It's the joy of all of it that's important to me. And if I make a few bucks at the end of the day, then all is good, and nothing but respect for you. And I guess my focus is more along the lines of those people who really need this money, right? If you're doing it for side money, little vacation money or Christmas money, then the item you're selling, it shouldn't even matter. I mean, I would say if that's the case, find something you enjoy selling and just do it. But if you're trying to do this as a business or to make money and to pay your bills and to feel like you can breathe at the end of the week and not struggle, then you really need to consider what you're going to sell and how you're going to do it. And that's all I've been trying to say all this time. Bearded Picker says, "What's up, Moisties?" Thanks for being here, Beard. Nice to see you. And I think he's having a little book review for the E-Myth Revisited after this live. So if you can confirm that, Beard, I'd appreciate it. Paul Rose says, "Hi, John and Jenna. Thanks for your earlier video. John, you put it very eloquently. There's no one size fits all. Our situations are also different. I think it's what causes so much friction." It is what causes so much friction. And I think it's also the need to be right. The need to be right. And don't get me wrong, I've been victim of that as well, where I feel like I have a good argument and I have this feeling, I have this need to like prove my point. And I think that's where a lot of these YouTubers, they come on board and they get mad at me like, well, you said it was my items. Like, what happened now? I made $500 in sales today. Where's that argument? And I guess my argument has always been that this is what works for me. And I've been down this road, and it's a hard road to hoe if you have to rely on $5 and $10 sales and stuff that doesn't have any, like old VHS movies, or, like Josh Galt just put out a post on his account on YouTube saying that I just wanted to tell you guys that these 3 movies I have, I forgot the title. I don't know if he's here, he can share with us in the chat, but he paid up $250 a piece on these VHS movies a few years ago, right? Because these are like the holy grail of VHS movies. And the comps on eBay right now are like less than $100.
I mean, unless they're coming with popcorn and a drink, then
So I guess it's,
that's crazy.
It's just a lot of the things that we were used to selling willy-nilly without any thought is just not selling the same way. And that's another obstacle that you're dealing with, and why a lot of people are dealing with slow sales in the summer, because you have a lot of things that people really aren't even thinking about anymore. Not along the same lines as they used to. They're more concerned about, how am I going to go out and buy all these groceries, at the price point that they want. So how many people have the kind of expendable income to just go in and just buy whatever they want that they used to 3 or 4 years ago, when they just don't? And that's just the reality of it. If people didn't need a lot of this stuff that I have back behind me, I'm sure I wouldn't sell it. Glenda Bavona says, "Beard, I watch all the time, but not in a creepy way." Flippin' Good says, "Happy Monday." And we have Spam Banshee is woken from her nap. The nap she took when Primo went live. She was trying to sleep, and I think she may have nodded off there during his live. But nice to see you. Paul Rose is with just low sell-through rate. A massive volume is required. Mix as best as possible. But at the end of the day, I'm sure we are all doing the best we can. Let's try to be a bit more tolerant if we can. And that is, I 100% agree with that. Look, the message that I'm putting out is not shame on you for selling low ticket items. Shame on you for nickel and diming your way through this process. Hey, look at me. I'm doing this, that, and you're not. That is not the message that I'm trying to pass on to you guys. I would shut this channel down today if that's the message that I'm putting out there. My goal is to help as many people as possible succeed in this game of reselling. And guess what? Along this journey, we all form our own opinions as to what works and what doesn't. I will not go out and buy 3XL granny panties like Beard does because I know it doesn't sell. Okay. And guess what? He's probably learned that lesson himself. We learn things,
just not quite as fast.
We learn these things along the way, and I learn these things and I pass on my experiences to you, and I have an opinion. I guess I could hold my opinion aside as to not hurt someone's feelings. But I mean, if we're being adults about this, let's take the information for what it is. Maybe I have a different experiences in you with DVDs and CDs. Maybe you do well with DVDs and CDs. I saw a store the other day on eBay that is nothing but hats. I think it was one of the grant winners from last year that had a pretty large store, and they had a lot of hats, and they actually had a pretty decent sell-through rate as compared to the items they had currently listing. That was kind of like interesting to me, and so it did tell me that yes, it certainly is possible to make money with these kind of items, but it's not common. and you got to put a lot of work into it, and it's just not as easy. That's why this channel flipping ain't easy, right? Because it's just not. And the whole idea of me even forming an opinion is not to create division. And I think that's why every time I drop a video, it always ends up starting with like 3 or 4 thumbs down on the video. I'm sure those people are watching right now. Go ahead and do it if you want to. The rest of you guys want to hit the thumbs up button and get your sale within the next 24 hours. I appreciate it. It's just the reality. There's people that cannot stand me because I have an opinion, and it's sad. Let's go through some of the sidebar talk here. We have Chastity says, hello all. Thanks for being here. Paul Rose says, my influence is rubbing off at least to spam. Joe Samard says, hello, FAE peoples. Thanks for being here, Joe.
Hello.
And we have Ping G says, hello, John and Jenna and the chat. Thanks
Hi,
for being
Ping.
here. Kevin Hawthorne in an undisclosed location is saying, good evening.
Hi, Kevin.
Thanks for being here, Kevin. Hawkeye Pickers, greetings from Iowa.
Iowa.
Awesome to see you. We have Henri Squaw. Howdy, y'all. My answer is I can do it because my husband has a good paying job with benefits. And doesn't that take the pressure off? Doesn't that make it feel like, if I make no sales today, it's, I did my best. I'll just try again tomorrow. But there is really no stress attached to it when you don't really have to actually have that. Now, maybe you need a little bit to maybe pay a car payment, or maybe you're paying a couple of the bills, but you don't really have to micromanage it down to the day. You just like, as long as I make X amount each month, I can have a couple bad days, and it doesn't matter what I sell. And so for those of you who are in that boat, keep doing what you're doing. The last thing I want you to do is turn you on to something like the crap that I sell back behind me that isn't all that interesting. And at the end of the day, the only function it really serves me is that it's making money, right? But I don't have the joy in what I'm selling like a lot of you guys do actually have. Semperfi 1918 says, made one sale, buy it was a bolo, so I'm overall still, and made another sale today by offer. There you go. There you go. So love to hear you guys report good stuff, especially, I'm seeing a downturn just the last few days. That's not anything I'm sweating, but I got to tell you, I'm more motivated to get out and in that hot garage with or without the AC unit, and I'm just trying to get it listed as fast as I can. Got a Spam Banshee says, John, Jenna, and fellow resellers, aloha.
Aloha.
Samantha Hunter says, good evening, FA viewers. Hope all is well.
Hey, Sam.
Thanks for being here. Jackie Bleckner says, hi, all. Thanks for being here, Jackie. Brenda Smith says, hello, everyone. I can also do it because I'm retired and do not rely on sales for my living expenses. There you go.
Love that, Brenda.
And I would never, suggest you do otherwise. You keep doing what you do. Yeah. DM Ephemera says, you need to find a crappy artist to customize the crappers.
That would be pretty cool to have custom shitters.
Yeah, maybe get like Target stickers made and put it on the bottom of the pans.
Wow.
Give them a little game to play while they're on the. And I was thinking, what happens if we don't sell like these? We have like 60 or 70 of these things. We always have plenty of seats for company. They want to come over. We want to invite a lot of people and just pull them out. Can you imagine that? And we don't have to worry about too many people for the 2 bathrooms we have in the house. You got your own bathroom built in right in this chair.
No.
Rob Something says yes to both, and then it then becomes a volume game. You overwhelm the low STR and ASP with sheer numbers. Yes, I'm a firm believer of that because there's other people who are currently doing it. But at what cost? You look at some of these big stores, and they've got to have hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not more, invested over time. Talk about time, right? Some people, they need the money now. They need the fast path to replace this job, which is why they're trying to figure it out. And they don't got the kind of time that it took some of these people to build large stores. And they certainly don't have the money that they're sitting on. Ed, the reselling writer, says, afternoon, John and Jenna. Thanks for being here, Ed. Nice to see you again.
Ed, how are you?
Hopefully life is treating you well, Ed.
I hope so.
Paul Rose says, I envy you, John. Wish I had your low volume, high profit model, and maybe one day I will. Right now, I am stuck with what I've got, so try and make it work. Yep. And that doesn't mean that you can't get it, though, Paul. I don't know how things are in the UK. I'm sure they're very, very different than the US in some regards. But there's there's opportunities out there. I'm sure there's many opportunities where people or entities are trying to sell or move, like liquidation or large lots of items. Maybe go to your local flea market if you have a flea market out there. Network and just
Ricky used to go to one of those.
He went to a boot
sale.
A boot sale. Okay, I was about to say a boot barn.
It's like a trunk sale.
Yeah, and where they open their trunks and like sell out of their that's just weird to me. It's like someone selling a bunch of like stolen goods out of their car. I don't know. Samantha Hunter says, my cat Milo hit the keyboard and won't stop. Oh no, say it ain't so. Back to the pit.
Oh no.
Oh no, don't do that. Samantha says, yes, Jenna, freedom.
Oh, yeah. My shirt.
Mike Gerda says, hello, as long as the low sell-through rate is in high demand and you've got systems in place to crank out high volume, then yes. Mm-hmm. But I am telling you right now, which model, if we think about it, which model is easier for those who are starting up? Like, look, this boss is driving me crazy. The commute is killing my car. I just can't do this anymore. Just the gas alone, I just can't. I need something that's going to replace this madness that I go through every day. And they turn on a YouTube video and they see resellers. But what model is more realistic? The idea that, we can replace your income, but you're going to have 20,000 items listed in your store. And then, you can make about $1,500 a week, or really drilling down to let's buy this item because it sells for 100. Let's forget all these other items, even if it means we're buying a few items here and a few items there and not a large quantity. Which one I'd say for someone who's starting out is the more realistic in making their immediate goals? And I think it's the higher sell-through rate, higher ASP formula. And that's the only reason why I harp on it so much, because I do know there's a lot of people that are really hungry and desperate for information. And I really feel like there's a lot of channels that, while they're well meant, they're reporting their experience, which is nowhere near the ability of the person that's new, that's trying to figure it out.
It's a false reality. It's a lot of I can't say a lot of, but there are a handful or two of YouTubers that resell that have other streams of income, but they don't disclose that. Yeah. And so you're led to believe that they're out there killing it with these items that they're buying from Goodwill. That's not the case. You have to really pay attention to what they're doing, and it's not, you have to have many streams of income in order to be doing what they appear to be doing.
Ping G says, I am in the same boat as Brenda. There are 2 years that I sold over 20,000, but now I still have items that are purchased over 20 years ago but don't need the income to live on. Right. And you don't have the pressure. So if those items sit there in your tubs or wherever you store the item in your listing area, it's not that big of a deal. You don't feel the pressure like, I got to get these things listed because I'm not making money. There's a lot of people right now that are sitting right now next to like tubs of inventory. They meant to list it when they bought it and they've just sat on it, right? Because listing is probably the for most people, the worst part of this whole game. I don't care about it. I mean, it's just part of the process for me. But there's a lot of people who just despise the idea of listing, and they mean well. They want to buy a lot of stuff to get listed, build a big store, but they can't bring themselves to follow through. Callie Deb says, hi, John, Jen, and chat. Can't watch much of the live today. I'm busy with family things. Hope everyone is doing well and getting good sales. Most of my sales have been on Etsy.
Nice.
And that's yet another thing. eBay ain't the answer for every item you're going to sell. You are going to find that you're going to get pretty good sales on other sites. But if you're limiting yourself, putting all your eggs in one basket on eBay, then that is also going to stunt your growth, especially it just really depends on what you're selling. Get your stuff onto other platforms. Like a lot of the low sell-through rate stuff I found, we used to sell fairly well on Mercari. Your clothing, your shoes, your clothing, accessories. Now they allow you to sell other things there on Poshmark, but I find that we really do well when we start getting our items, our shoes and our clothes, that the few that we do have cross-posted over to Poshmark. They do tend to sell pretty good, and they add to your overall volume. So I think you're, as a reseller, you know, you should be looking into that. Now, of course, Tree Cat sponsors the channel. You can use the link down below, give them a shot and see if it's something that's right for you, but you're never going to know until you actually do. But there's just a lot to it. Midwest Picker says, I'm wondering if I get pushed down because I see it sell a lot of vintage clothes. I don't know if it's because you're selling the vintage clothing that's pushing you down. I think my theory is, regardless of what you're selling, vintage clothing could be pencil erasers for all that, for, you know, doesn't matter. eBay is looking at the sell-through rate of what you're selling. That's why they show you in the performance tab and under traffic, your conversion rate. How high is your conversion rate? I think that is also a factor. It plays within the algorithm. I'm a firm believer of that. Ping G says, hi, Samantha. Weather is getting hot, but everything is good. It's been hot here, Ping. In fact, tomorrow it's going to be the coolest it's been for like the last month. So I'm going to sneak out at like 6 a.m. to hit the golf ball around and get back in time to get some work done. Tommy Z says that number one challenge is, where do you consistently source these great items to sell that the person who owns it isn't already selling it online themselves? If you're hitting thrift garage sales, it's tough. So for liquidation, and you know what's cool is, I was telling Archie, I found another local source that used to be viable for me, and they just went down like the drain. Their quality was just horrible. It's like, why would I want to buy this stuff? It's now looking pretty good like it used to be. So I've added another sort of quill and another arrow in my quill that I can pull out and use if I need to. I really don't necessarily need to, but I am very intrigued, and it may be something that allows me to buy my first pallet in like 2 years instead of buying individual items. So stay tuned. I might kind of report on what I find there, but I'm always looking. I'm always checking back. I'm always, you know, going back to this place I bought from before. How do they look right now? I'm not just focused on what I'm doing, you know, every day. I'm doing other things as well.
But also too, all you are doing is looking at what they are focusing on in the one picture online. If you do what we were doing before, where we were, yeah, it looks great on the screen, but you buy it and you get it home and it's a bunch of trash. It's picked through. I mean, I wouldn't.
Well, yeah, that's the we were buying for quite some time. Archie and I were going in and buying these boxes of Amazon returns. They're sight unseen, no manifest, just general returns. And at first it was pretty good. You found some pretty decent things in there, and then it wasn't. Right. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the stuff that's actually, this stuff is manifested stuff. I can go in, I see there's 30 items on there. Like, for instance, some of this stuff is like 20 to 25 items on a pallet, have the retail boxes in there, right? These are just customer return items, your standard everyday Amazon returns. And there's 20 to 25 items on there. And you'll have an item that sells on Amazon anywhere from $300 to $800. And then it kind of works its way down, and the lowest priced item is like $100.
Right,
so,
but even those we got stung on because of the fact that they were being picked through.
Well, but it's manifested. So you're getting. It
doesn't matter.
When you say pick through, what do you mean?
We had manifested ones.
Right, but you're talking about like when we got those Roombas, right? We got a big pile of Roombas years ago, and these are like the robot vacuum cleaners, and they're different brands. A lot of them are Roombas, and we're like, wow, there's like, they pulled out the bin, or like it's not complete. They're missing the chargers, and it's like no customer would return.
That's not what I'm talking about. Well, I'm talking about when we were buying the pallets, and they would have like a computer memory thing or whatever. I don't know anything about computers, but the internal bait casing of something or other, the motherboard or whatever it was.
Right. I think I know what you're talking about.
It was picked out of there, but it was one of the top things that was going to make us money. And it wasn't there, along with 3 or 4 other things that could have
Right.
gave us more money.
Right. But in those cases, there was a process to go in and report them. That was through, we got direct liquidation, I think, is one of the places we went to for that we had that problem. Of course, when that kind of thing happens, you just move on and find another vendor. But that was that one company, and that's a bad experience. It's no different than saying, look, I sold on eBay and this buyer scammed me, and so I'm not going to sell on eBay anymore.
Right. But what I'm saying, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, yes, we can try it again, but I'm not going to go banking on and betting on my income all on this, palette that is, it looks great online, and then you get it home and you're unloading it and you're like, well, where's X, Y, and Z? And
well, but that's what I'm saying. You got a 5,000 MSRP, and these things are selling for like $300. So we go in, we do a test buy.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Well, that's what it turns out to be, because I'm not going to go out and buy 5 or 10 pallets and say, oh, wow, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Right.
I'm going to go in and I'm going to buy a pallet and see. And then again, I'm buying the kind of items that you can part out. So if they, let's say they return like half of the item, like the accessories are gone, I could still part out, maybe pull the battery out and things that people do every day on perfectly good stuff.
Right. No,
so
I get that.
I have a strategy in my mind. I'm not going to just jump into it blind.
I know. I just want to be very, once you get burned on one of those deals, you're very hesitant to go back and do it again. Because I'm not one that, if I'm going to get burnt in the fire once, I'm not going to put my hand back in. So I certainly want to make sure that we're going in with precaution and we think it through, and we're really paying attention to the pictures, and because John's very good at, when he sees a picture of a pallet, it's called a Gaylord, and it's usually open on the top. So
these aren't.
Some of them are, I'm just saying,
yeah.
Or they have or it is covered and you can read the boxes on all sides because they photographed it.
They're on a pallet and they're wrapped with clear wrap.
Yes.
So you can see the different boxes.
Yes.
They show different angles of the pallet, and you can kind of get in there, zoom in a little bit on the photos, kind of look around. And sometimes you'll find things aren't even manifested properly. Like, wow, this is actually better than what's in the manifest. Mm-hmm. You kind of gain an eye for that. But I can tell you that these people that sell this inventory liquidation, they have no interest in pulling out chargers and stuff. They really don't.
No, I'm not saying that's the problem.
Right.
Because we get that all, even with the stuff we get now, that can happen. Yeah. But I'm just saying, we got burned. But of course, I'll go in hesitantly, but very
Look, the moment that I come across a situation where it's like, this is not worth it, I'll just stop. It's not a big deal. If I lose $300 in a bad buy, then you know what? It ain't the first time, and it probably won't be the last. It's kind of how we grow, right? We sometimes have to take chances.
Right, but we've learned that lesson already.
But if you don't take calculated risks once in a while in your business, you're never going to flourish as much as you can. I think we all have made that purchase where, like, I'm not sure. We make the purchase and it's like, wow, I'm glad I bought this, right? And sometimes it's like, wow, why did I even bother with this? It's not what I thought it was. Heck, I do that all the time. Biff Boffo says, I think the low sell-through rate items have to be collectibles. A low sell-through rate collectible will eventually attract a buyer. On the other hand, cheap Chinese liquidation is little appeal. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you guys saw either Kevin Commonwealth Picker's video that he put out on Friday, or the one I put out today, sort of as a follow-up to that video. He had a jacket. It's a London Olympics jacket, one of a kind type of item. He set his price. He kind of came down over time. Took him 20 months or something like that to sell it. Eventually he did. And if you have items like that, then yes, you certainly shouldn't be jumping at the first offer on things like that. I don't get a lot of that. I do know that I had one item that was sort of like that Space 1999 thing that that model, the two different models, one for the gun, one for the ship, and then one for the actual signed and painted canvas by the person, the author of whatever. I don't know enough about it. But I bought it for $70. I put it up. I made $1,800 overnight. That stuff sold like that. And if it didn't sell, what would I have done? I probably would have lowered the price gradually, in gradual increments over time, to get the price point that I believe I'm going to get, because I'm never going to see that again. These toilet seats, unfortunately, I'm going to see them again. Gail Carlson says, hello, John and Jenna and FAE family. Thanks for being here.
Gail.
No Designs, John, you guys are so confined. Jenna's shirt says it all.
We are. I feel trapped in this room, to be honest. I feel very claustrophobic.
Yeah, but we're here with friends. So Mr. Sadie says, nice eye roll, Jenna. Very textbook.
Yes, because just
I get that.
Shipping update. We ordered 3-inch tape. How many weeks ago? 3 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
4 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't gotten it yet.
Well, that's not
so now I have no 3-inch tape, and I have no 2-inch tape.
You got some 2-inch tape right in that drawer in there. There's about 3 or 4 that'll hold you over until it comes. I've been checking
this morning.
on this
I ran out. I was out of. I went and checked all the old rollers, everything. I had no tape.
You're so entitled to this tape.
I am entitled.
You don't need to be.
I want to make sure that my packages are going to arrive solid.
They will be there fine. I mean, thankfully we don't have a lot of sales right now. It's like,
well, no, don't say that.
Well, you don't have to tape something you can't. You're not shipping. Major Win says, "Hey all, great to see you. Nice to see you, Major Win." Noah Design says, "Jenna, tell us viewers, how does it feel that the toilet seats are taller than you?"
They are. Actually, yeah, they
we're,
are.
We're gonna try to bring that down, and we have
really hope they start to sell
other stacks in the garage too. Biff says, I have low sell-through rate items, but my conversion rate is 5.6%, so it's really low. Is it really low sell-through rate? Yes, because I have 40,000 items, but only get 20,000 page views in a month. Half my stuff does not get looked at.
Wow.
Well, I would say by just the number, the conversion rate you're showing me is better than mine. So I would classify that not as low sell-through rate. Let's give your items a little bit better, more credit than that. They're probably not low sell-through rate. Low ASP, maybe, right? Because I don't know what your price point is. But low sell-through rate, probably not. Because I promise you, there's people out there that are trying to make it work and are making it work with much lower sell-through rate. Think about it like this. If you have 20,000 items in your store and you're selling, if you're selling, 100 items a day, that's so funny. It's really hard to form a thought when you're laughing.
I'm sorry, Jovial killed it.
She can't see now.
Yes, I can.
Put it down.
No.
I'm trying to have a conversation with these guys here. Would you like to continue?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So
no, I have no idea what's going on in that brain.
Well, I'm just trying to help Biff. Well, I think Biff already knows. I think he knows. I think he knows his items are better than he's giving it credit for. If you have 200, let's say 100 sales in a day, and you have 20,000 items in your store, that ain't a great sell-through rate. It really isn't. I'm not going to do the math in my head, but that's not 5.6% conversion rate. Now, I'm not saying that's what you do, Biff, but I'm just trying to say as an example, there's people that, have 20, 30, 40, 50,000 items in the store selling 100 a day. And we're thinking, wow, you sold 100 in a day. But at the end of the day, that's a very low sell-through rate. And, it is what it is. Noah Design says, hey, Jenna, when the doorbell rings, how are you going to get out? Just wondering.
Very carefully.
I'm going to back up. She's going to walk through. Samantha says, oh, crap, I can't find my... I don't know. I'll back up until I crash into something. Oh, crap, I can't find my notes, John. Today on the YouTube at 2:30 eBay. Yes, eBay ran a commercial for Vogue and eBay clothes. Are we reaching the powers that be? Get your clothes together, folks. Yeah, I think they were talking about it a few months ago. Remember, I put out a little blurb about how eBay, and I played for you guys the eBay Pay It Forward campaign that they had a number of years ago, that they are changing their mindset. And does that mean they're ditching their featured categories? I don't think so, but they might now be coming around to the idea that, hey, it's time to focus on other categories than just shoes and watches, purses, and trading cards. And not saying there's anything wrong with that, but they've been focusing almost all their, and eBay Motors, all their energy on those featured categories.
Mm-hmm.
Duncan says, how many listings you can get done in a day with the eBay tug of war? I'm looking at a value. So as I pull out items in my, I guess you'd say my receiving area where I unload my car whenever I go and pick up this liquidation. I'll kind of go through to my mind and I'll pick out like an even mix of really good and lower priced items, high or low priced items. And I'm trying to list sort of a value, but to me, the number of items is not really relevant. Some days, like the other day, I listed 60 items because I listed all these toilet seats in 2 listings. But that's not, I didn't say, okay, well, I listed, what is it? $4,000, $5,000 in merchandise, so I'm done for the day. I kept going. So, how much time do I have? How much time can I maximize? I'm trying to get about 10 a day done if I can, and that doesn't seem like a lot. But if you consider that my average sale price is somewhere around, I'd say $75 to $80, then it works. It works for us. And that formula. Now, can I do better if I do more? Yeah, sure. Am I just saying, okay, I'm done. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. I've done my 10 and I can move on? No, I'm not doing that. Let's see. Paul Rose. Oops, you got something to say?
I thought you were going to go to Becky.
No. Paul Rose says, have 37,000 pounds. That's for those of you in the U.S., that's not weight. That's actually money's worth. Currently listed, and who knows how much built up to list. Conservatively 100 to 200,000, but the site isn't helping. Yeah, the site has its issues, but we just gotta
keep
navigate it. I mean, as long as sales are happening for someone, sales can happen for you, regardless of what's going on with eBay and their craziness. Becky says, I hit the like button, immediately got a $150 sale.
Woo!
Awesome. No Design says, not every day can you say a very tall toilet seat is blocking your way out.
This is true.
But it's not just one toilet seat.
No,
it is
not.
It is
a very tall tower of multiple toilet
plethora
seats.
of toilet seats. And here we go.
Yes, thank God.
Just ran into the toilet seats.
Be careful they don't fall.
Yeah. Don't want to damage the boxes. But it worked, see? I left enough room to make it work. Biff says, I have my oldest items promoted at 2%, but I doubt it helps maybe 10% of my store. It's such a low percentage that I have let it run. Now, one thing I wanted to bring up, and I meant to do a video on this, but maybe I will in the future, promoting. I think there's a lot to be said about there's certain items that shouldn't be promoted. We've always said that. Got a lot of competition, you promote. You don't have a lot of competition, you have just a lot of unique things, you generally don't promote. But in light of the idea that eBay will show promoted items in non-search areas of the site. So we talk about how, for instance, someone will buy your item, they'll find another item similar to it and cancel your item and instead buy that one. That's a non-search listing, right? So you have in your listing right now, any of you guys out there, pull up one of your items in the app, scroll down, or on the PC, scroll down. You're going to see other people's items being advertised within your listing. And that is another benefit of promoting your listing. So you're finding, so I think if you have that one-off item, this is just a thought, maybe I'm wrong here because I'm prone to be wrong. I'm not saying I'm always right. But the theory in my mind is if you promote even 2%, then you're opening yourself up to allowing that unique item to be placed in a similar item search. So let's say you have a unique vase, or what Josh would call a vase, right? And yours is one of a kind. There's no one like it. But there's other vases out there like that are maybe that color, maybe of that type, but not like yours. By maybe promoting, you're opening up your item to be shown in other people's listings and other locations on the eBay platform. Just a thought. Want to know what you guys think about that. No Design says, John, give you an answer so long you forget the question you asked in the first place. I'm sorry, Ken. Maybe I'll just give a real quick one-liner and move on. Duncan VR says, I now have to bring on another dealer in UK to find me more stuff and send it to me here in Sydney. 9 degrees Celsius today. So it's probably 9 degrees is probably like 30 degrees. Still pretty cold. I think a lot of us in the summer would be like me. I'd take a 30-degree day. Rob Something says, I have about 2,600 active items valued around 100,000. Awesome. All my buy cost is paid off in sales already. Still have another 200,000 to list. Large buyouts for the win. There you go. There you go. And you have plenty of merchandise to sell. My only thought, and it's kind of just a random thought, is unless that stuff is sitting like in your garage, then you're probably paying for storage on some of that. And until you've pulled that item out of storage, you're still paying on it, if that makes sense. You're paying the upkeep of storing those goods. Biff Boffo says, I have the oldest 10% of my items promoted at 2%. Not at all convinced it helps, but it's such a low percentage to have been letting it ride. Yeah. I have a theory, though, that it doesn't really help you in search because you have that one-of-a-kind type of item. If they're looking for ephemera for, a certain occasion, they'll end up finding your item through search either way. But maybe, just maybe, that you're opening your items up to be exposed on other pages on eBay, and it's not even a search-related thing. Duncan says, my ephemera suppliers were not able to source talking shitter seats. Did you list yours with free shitting? No free shitting here. Biff Boffo says, I like eBay to think that I'm participating in promoted listings, even though it's minimal. Yeah, it's part of the game. I think that's where eBay's going. I think they do give favor to those who promote. That's just my and I guess there's only one way to find out, to promote for a month and go back and compare to what you did when you didn't promote and just see if there's a difference. Ping G says, when eBay stated that 2% was the lowest rate, I promoted at 3%. Yeah, because there's a lot of people that are at 2% just because they feel obligated to promote and they don't want to promote any more than they have to. So they'll promote at the very lowest to play eBay's game. Right? So even if it's 2.1%, you're going to be at the top of that list. Susan Phelps says, hey, love to get to your live. I'm now new to eBay around a month and a half. I have 104 listings. I work full-time at a school and have summers off. I've grossed over $750 during that time. There you go.
Nice.
There you go.
Good job, Susan.
So you're supplementing your income and you're making that work. Now, a hypothetical, maybe circle back around and answer, what would happen tomorrow if, let's say, they said, look, Susan, it ain't working out. We're going to have to let you go. Now, I think you're probably great and that's never going to happen to you, but you always got to, in the back of your mind, think to yourself, what would I do if I lost my job tomorrow?
Because let me tell you, it happened to us.
Yeah. And it had nothing to do with, how good we were or anything. Actually, the office we had was a much better performing office than the one that they kept open. But because it was closer to Washington, D.C., there's more politics involved. They kept that one open. So, yeah. So you just never know. And I'm curious what you would do.
Sells vintage jewelry.
Most of it is vintage jewelry.
I would like to see it.
Yeah. Spam says, Jenna, your hair is very flattering. Flattering.
Well, thank you so much, Spam. I just threw it up.
Beard's going to go on as soon as this is done in an hour. He's going to do the book confirmation. I believe that is E-Myth Revisited. Major Win says, right now, we're really considering our level model test. We have about 3,300 items. Try to make the book review, but we're driving an hour out to Simi Valley today for a couple of sourcings. There you go.
Nice.
Business first over YouTube.
Yes. You guys should go live while you're out driving around. That'd be fun.
Biff says it's not only a need to be right. People are shook when their business model is challenged because that's their income. I've been guilty of it. I have learned to chill out instead. Took a while. But you know our story. It shook us to the point where, guess what, Jenna? We're both driving for Uber Eats today. Yeah. And, what part of town are you going to? Because I'm going to this part of town, and I'll see you later. Okay. And in Vegas, especially, especially in the summer, it's not a fun
thing to do.
It's more fun in the winter because it's it's cooler. You can see the Christmas lights when you're driving around the holidays. But we want to be home, right? We want to be home with our family, doing the things we know we can make money with. But we had to make some tough decisions to get there. Susan says, I don't know, but my jewelry is selling pretty consistent. So awesome.
Nice.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
I got Landshark Picker. Thanks for being here. What's up tonight? Hopefully Dallas wins the NBA Finals tonight. They win a game because we have to have them win out. A friend of mine and I, we put a couple $100 each on Dallas at the beginning of the series to win 1,100, and that doesn't look very promising right now. Did the live end? Did John shout it down?
Shut it down.
No, hopefully.
Shut it down.
Hopefully you guys can still hear us.
That's because you said, I will shut it down right now.
Do you really think that of me, Ken? I like to think that you guys come and hang out. If you guys saw that side of me, I wouldn't want you guys to watch this program if I was not into it to help people.
But see, John's not like that anyway, so he wouldn't even be able to do that. He's very much a very genuine person. No beat around the bush BS.
And sometimes, guys, look, I've made a lot of people mad at me. I just put it out there. I made a lot of viewers mad at me. I made a lot of other YouTube channel hosts mad at me because of ideas. Why do ideas hurt people so much? It's like, look, if you can't use the information, just move on. Why do you allow it to trigger you to type something nasty in the chat or send a nasty email or, all these things that is really unnecessary? Look, if you have the idea that what you're doing is the way, then continue on. Don't let me stop you. I'm just here telling you what works for me. Beard says, stop talking bad about the big girls. Shout out to the big girls. Nothing wrong with big girls, but it's the decision to buy for the big girls that probably is not in the cards for you.
The quantity of the amount that you have invested for the big girls' panties.
Landshark says, just don't hit the thumbs up twice. That doesn't work. No, it negates hitting the... but if you hit the thumbs down, I'm pretty sure you're going to get a return request. So hit the thumbs up so you get your sale. Robert 292 says, I hit the thumbs up, then thumbs down, then 4 thumbs up, LOL. Then that's back to square one. I think you just made Landshark's point. Let's see. Bama, Jaybird Resell Josh says, every business model is different, but also not every business model is super profitable. For me, it's all about sell-through rate and return on investment. I have no problem selling a CD for 7 to 10 that I gave 25 cents for. Yeah. And that's a model that people use all the time. And people build big stores doing that. But I think that's something that you're better off staying at your full-time job, building an eBay business on the side, building it up to where you have the 3, 4, 5 plus 1,000 items in your store, if you're selling that kind of item, and then keep building that and keep doing what you're doing. At that point, you're kind of locked in. You're just going to keep buying that same type of item. I pass on CDs and DVDs every yard sale I go to. I don't even bother looking through them.
Yeah, it's just we have never found any success with it ever. So CDs, VHSs, DVDs, and hats, and some people have that as their business model, and that's all they buy, and that, or they put that in the mix of all the other things that they sell. Yeah. But for us, they've never been a real game changer for us. They sit in our store longer than anything.
Yeah. And maybe you need to go just full on out, just boom, hundreds or thousands of CDs or hundreds or thousands of DVDs and have a huge selection that people can look through and to buy from you. But for me, it's not something I don't want to build a 5,000 item plus store. Can you imagine having all those SKUs and looking through this drawer, that drawer?
Not if 7 and 9 are not available.
They won't be available. 8 and 10 won't be available either.
No.
Beard says, that's a great strategy. Josh and John both need husbands to support the reselling business. Let's see. No one designs says, I forgot to say hello. Hey, John, Jenna, and toilet seats. Yeah.
You forgot.
Introduce the toilet seat.
Excuse me. You forgot the S on seats.
Bama Jaybird says, doesn't mean I want that to be the bulk of my sales. I prefer an ASP of $50, but that's all about margins at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. So it's about how much are you getting paid from eBay, I guess daily, if you do daily payouts, or weekly. For me, I do weekly. And that is a measure of my success. So if I'm not at a payout of like $1,500 plus, then it's like, yeah, I didn't have a good week. What is that number for you? It's going to be different for everyone, and everyone's going to have different number. You know, their bills are different. Their cost of living is different. Maybe their cost of living is already taken care of, and now it's just I'm building up, saving money for whatever. Right? That would be the best way to sell on eBay if you can do that. Mr. Sadie says also depends on what we consider slow sellers. I would love 1,000 listings of all multi-quantity with a decent ASP and sell only one of each every couple weeks. Sorry if that doesn't make sense, but I watch Beardy Picker a lot. No, it makes sense. You know, that is my goal, is not to build it up to 1,000. I really think if I can build this store up to 500, then even my slower days are going to be fine. You know, I'll be offset by the really, really good days. My sales right now with the 200 item store are on par with what we need. If I build it to 500, would that necessarily double everything? No. But if I keep selling the same kind of things, in theory, it should, right? I guess that would prove a theory whether or not eBay throttles you based on how much you're making. I mean, if I was to overnight bump this store up to 400 or 500 similar items, not just cheating and throwing a bunch of CDs out there, but similar ASP type items, you know, $70, $75 range, then that would actually work in theory. But if eBay is throttling you, then you'd find out what
we could sell your recipes.
Yeah, my recipes are.
We could sell your recipes and make millions.
No, we're not doing that.
Why not?
I'm gonna stick to my day job. Rob Something says, if you are relying on volume for low ASP and low sell-through rate, then having solid processes and systems is key to minimize the actual work. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a fact.
But I guess, wouldn't you agree? And this is a shout out to those who have big stores. You know, I envy people who actually have the big, this is no jealousy thing at all. It's envious. I'm envious. And I look up to the idea that people can maintain such large inventories and make it work without getting shut down. You know, like, oh, I lost this item, I can't find it in the sea of items that I have. Here's another defect, and a defect, and a defect. After a while, eBay's, you know, telling, you know, you that you're now above standard, or you're not even above standard, you're below standard, and you're going to get hit with fees, and they force you out of business. So those people who actually are out there with large stores and are making it work with large inventories, I got nothing but respect for you, because you're doing it despite the summer slowdown and or the change in market, which I think a lot of people just kind of maybe don't acknowledge, that the markets are ever changing for all these things that we're selling. Richard says 90% of the 1,200 plus items I sell are physical media. Could never pay mortgage with my eBay income. However, it's a nice supplement to my monthly pension. So there you go. I got to tell you, this discussion we had a few weeks ago, I don't want to be dealing with heavy, bulky boxes by the time I'm in my mid to late 60s. You know, she's already still complaining about her arm. You know, this, that, and the thing hurts because, you know, we're dealing with 20-pound boxes, and sometimes larger than that. Sometimes larger than that. But when they're larger than that, I tend to go and get them for you and put them on the shipping table.
Not today, though.
But
you didn't.
But you never asked me to. So,
no, because you were busy.
Well, I'm always busy. So when she asked me, hey, honey, I need help with this box, I'll go get it, and I'll go bring it wherever she needs me to bring it. But at some point, you know, when you get older, you just don't want to deal with that stuff, right? And I'd like to think that, you know, with our retirement, you know, I'll be getting it like 67. And I'm kind of bitter about that, because I I always wanted to have that 30-year, 60-year, 30-year thing where I'm working 30 years the railroad. I can retire at 60. That's out the window. So by the time I'm 67, I don't want to be selling these heavy things. I'd rather be doing like what Biff is doing, or others are doing, where it's just things, trinkets, where it's not that heavy and I can find a lot of it. And I have some time to set myself up for that. But in the meantime, this is what we're selling. Susan says, sell the crappers to hunters for their outhouses. That's what I thought. The orange ones, right? So it's like, oh, that's not a deer. That's a guy. He's on the shitter. He's, don't aim that way. So
put a target on the back.
Yeah, if you're just taking a coffee can out there, you run the risk of getting shot. You don't want that. No One Design says, what is BP? Bad people, big pimple. No, it's bearded picker. I am BP.
Brain Pringles.
T. Taylor, those people that don't like you for your opinion are the people that think they're never wrong. And there's many of them.
True.
There's many of them. There's many of them that will, they have said some things, and it's, if I could show you some of the conversations just through the email with these people, where it's like, hey, dude, I'm not whatever. They do not like being told
people
that.
Take things way too personally, even though we do not ever say somebody's name or throw anybody out there. They assume that we are speaking exactly to you, and that we are telling you're doing it wrong.
No. I mean, I could tell you, look, for me, we're where we need to be. But does that mean that you should go out and do what we're doing? I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, that you have to, only you can evaluate that. Tess cooks for you. Good evening. Husband had heart surgery, doing well. And we're just getting back to selling. eBay is good part of income. I watched your bid on promotions, trying to decide percentage. First of all, hopefully your husband's doing better.
Yeah.
And that's the important thing. Hopefully he's doing well. But I'm sure you're cooking for him and keeping him well fed and nourished. So that's good.
Yes.
Now, eBay is a good part of your income, and you're trying to figure out promotions. You could start small. You could start at 2.1% and work your way up. But also I don't know if you sell within a niche or just sell everything, but look and see, is there a lot of people selling the same type of item that you're selling? If so, then you need to promote that item and maybe promote a little bit more. Yeah. Go, if you can get to your listings quality report, it's under your seller hub. I believe it's under performance. It will give you a link there that you can pull up in like Google Sheets or Excel. And it's cool because it gives you like your top 10 categories you sell in. And if you scroll to the right, it'll tell you what the top 10% of sellers in your category is promoting. And maybe you then would promote at that level, but maybe like if they're promoting at 6%, maybe promote at 7%, right? Just so that you're doing a little bit better, because that's just an average. So it's not the highest that your competition is promoting. It's the average of what the top 10% are promoting. So it's a really, really good tool. And that will help answer your question where you need to be with the promotions for that type of item. Kelly says, if you want a consistent income, low sell-through rate is not the way to go. It takes a long ass time to get there. It all depends on what your end goal is. And that is my point.
Absolutely, Kelly.
Maybe I just need to contact Kelly before I do these and say, look, I don't want to do a diatribe. Help me condense down everything that needs to be said in two sentences. And Kelly would have gotten me there today. So it's going to take you a long time to build this business, and it's going to take a lot of money to buy these goods that you're going to have to sit on. And that's why, to me, 200 items, I'm into them for $1,500, guys. $1,500 is all I have in my store right now, out of pocket, give or take a little bit. I mean, that's just a rough estimate. I was kind of going down as fast as I can. And guess what? That could be done overnight. Someone can go and buy $1,500 worth of goods, provided they have the source. Now, I'm not saying that's an easy thing, but maybe you're doing your homework. You're losing your job here in 3 weeks to a month, or you're going to quit your job in 3 weeks to a month. You give them a good 2 weeks notice, and you're doing the homework. Where can I buy a pallet here and there? And you get that stuff, right? And you don't have a huge investment to get it going. Whereas a large store, I promise you, you ask anyone who has these huge stores, They're telling you, look, I put my blood, sweat, and tears and a lot of my life into building this store. I promise you that is a statement that those folks can agree with. Big Dre says, hello, John and Jenna, getting my items that sold today and over the weekend in my storage unit right now.
Nice.
That's good, man. Get those things listed because you don't have a whole lot of time before, unless you don't have to ship today. Shirley says, hi, John and Jenna. I tried to sign up for Tree Cat, but I do need help. So, I mean, if you're trying to just sign up and need some help, you can always send us an email. Jenna, Jenna can kind of help you through if you need help with, the basics on that.
Oh, and by the way, who won the moist flapjack thing?
Yeah, what's going on with that? Well, I have to go back and look. I think it's a she, and she watches the show. Maybe I'd have to go back and look. But she did say, "Hey, good. I'm going to put it up on my wall." But she never did contact us. So if you won, well, we know who you are when we see your name.
Yeah.
We need you to contact us. I put the email address in the chat so that you can send us an email and say, "Hey, look, I won that prize."
Send us an email so that we can.
Because
we need your address so we can send it to you. It's been sitting on my desk
drying out,
and I would.
Yeah, the moist flapjack is drying out,
and
so
I would love to get that off my desk.
U.S. Sports Card says it's weird that you catch gruff with things. Every time I've watched you two, your message has always been transparent and positive.
Well, thank you.
And I thank you for that. And I think though, if you tune in and you're watching someone and they're saying, "Look, that's not my process," and it flies in the face of what you're doing, you're watching this, you're gonna be like, screw that guy. That guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Let me leave a thumbs down and let me leave some, maybe a nasty comment because I don't need to hear that. I mean, turn the channel. Go if you're looking for an echo chamber, there's all kinds of channels out there that'll tell you, hey, keep doing what you're doing. But you know what? I'm not here to tell people that they're doing wrong. I'm just telling people to consider that maybe if you're struggling with this particular way, there's other ways out there, and you shouldn't be married to buying 1,000 items in a month and just building up a 10,000 item store because you see someone else do it, but maybe you don't have the means and the wherewithal to do that, and there are other ways. And that's all I'm trying to say. The message is more for newer sellers than someone who's already established. You got Roman says, hey, Ken told me that if not for John, nobody in the country would have toilet seats. Hello, everyone. Yes, we'd all be using coffee cans.
Roman, how are you doing? Since your surgery, let us know.
Yeah,
we hope you're doing well.
Hopefully you're doing better, man. Robert says, started using Terapeak every trip to the bins now. No more bad buys for me. Rather walk out empty-handed. Yeah.
Absolutely.
There's nothing worse when you're sourcing. There's nothing worse than buying stuff and then you realize, oh no, I shouldn't have bought. Maybe I shouldn't have bought this. Or maybe you buy a lot of things and maybe the first couple things you pull out look promising. That's what happened to me. We bought a large replica NASCAR lot. And the ones, of course, the seller, they took time to randomly grab, the ones that actually had value, but the other ones didn't. And I don't have time to look through 100 different ones. I just said, you know what, guy seems like a good guy. And, he's willing to work with me on the price. And, the two that he showed me did have good sales comps. Got it home and it's like, man, this is a bad buy. Now, mind you, we did make money on the deal, but it took a little bit more time. And
still have some?
No, I think we lotted those up. We lotted those up. We did get rid of all those. Mr. Sadie says I should disclose my father, Silver Hair Stacker, is very wealthy. And that's why it could be. That's why we call him Larry. It's Larry Todd. Anytime Picker says Ken also told me that there is no right or wrong in reselling business models unless you have to buy pills for crackheads.
Oh Lord.
Overjoyed's with us. I'm one of those people that can't stand listing. So tedious.
That's me.
Okay, so
that is me.
You got to look at it as everything you do. Well, I can't say for everyone. For many people, there's going to be one or two tasks at, let's say, your 9-to-5 job. Anyone remember having a 9-to-5 job? there's one or two tasks that you absolutely despise doing it, but guess what? You did it because it's what was required with the job. Listing is no different, and it doesn't have to be bad. It doesn't have to, I mean, I know it's item specifics, they've added all this stuff to it, but it doesn't have to be, like pulling your teeth to get it done. It's just, you got to do it, and you know that you're not going to get this item sold unless it's listed. So, you got to make that part of the process. And I don't know, what is it? I'm asking you. I'm asking a person who hates listing, because I don't mind it.
What is it about it that you don't like? I'm no good at it. It takes me way too long to do one item. I do too much research. I spend way too much time on one item. And sure, you could easily say, oh, well, don't. Well, I am very meticulous. Excuse me. And I like it to be perfect, but I'm not perfect. And so therefore I can't, if it's not, and then I have, Mr. Overlooker over here, and he will come in on a listing and be like, hey, did you know, you forgot the blah, blah, blah. Well,
if I don't notice it, your buyer's going to notice it. And
right.
I'm
not saying it's all a bad thing, but it's just not one of the things. I am good at a lot of things, and I, could list things all day long. However, listing is not my strong suit. And I will say that until the day I die.
Now, there's a couple things that you can do to set, if it's the, the tedious looking up of the item and trying to figure out, because you're an everything seller maybe, and you sell a lot of different things like we do. You can take that part right out of the equation by simply taking the title. So you find the item that you're selling, you go in and sell similar on that. So you're piggybacking off of a sold, not a listed, but a sold listing. And you find a sold listing, you piggyback off of that. You make sure the title looks right, make sure it's exactly what you're selling. You copy that title if it looks good. You paste it into Gemini because it's free, it doesn't cost anything. You ask Gemini one question one time for one item. You can then paste every listing after that without asking again. Create an optimized item description for this item, and then enter, and it'll give you a bulletized item description that you're copying, pasting it right into your item description. You're not relying on the eBay word game AI. You're relying on real AI that's pulling from actual data on the internet about that item / model number of what you're selling. And 90% of the time, because there's that 10% where you're like, nah, this isn't quite it. 90% of the time, you're going to simplify by finding an item that is now an item description that is now perfect for the item that you're selling. And you don't even have to know anything about it. Roman, Mr. Sadie, Todd told me that his wealth is hidden in the treasure map on the treasure island. Biff Boffo says, I love listing, and that definitely helped me build to 39,000. I could be shucking fava beans. Right. Look at the alternative. Yep. What is it that you would be doing if you weren't reselling right now? And what are some things you absolutely did not like about that job? And I promise you that listing looks a lot better as compared to that.
I can make reservations all day long.
Yeah, but then you get that.
Closed.
Then what if you get that nasty person on the phone with an attitude that was just difficult?
I am amazing at difficult customers. Okay. People would a lot of times give them to me.
Okay. What about being pulled off the phone by a supervisor that you don't like and having to sit through 30 to 45 minute meeting with them?
I don't care. I'm off the phone.
You used to complain about that. Mike Seller says, hello, John and Jenna in chat. Greetings from South Dakota.
South Dakota.
Thanks for being here. That's awesome.
Hey, Mike.
Susan says, I found when I posted daily at the same time and the same amount of items, which I do 5 with 2% promoted, I get more views and potential buyers.
So, suggestion, Susan. What if you were to do 2.1 or 2.2? Don't do the same percentage as everybody else.
Yeah, I think if you're going to promote, you just know that there's a huge percentage of folks that promote at 2% because they got to. They don't want to give eBay another dime, right? Yeah. So they're stuck at 2%. So find a smaller number, like 2.1. That's just a little bit more than the masses. I think that may help you a little bit. But I don't know how eBay treats 2.1% as compared to 2,
Right.
as compared to 3, as compared to 4%.
Yeah.
So you gotta kind of tinker with it. Biff says at some point the liquidators who cherry pick their lots will suffer the consequences. People won't tolerate getting burned, usually more than once. It's bad business, right?
Yeah.
But you come back, maybe they've changed their ways, and I think maybe one of them is somewhat promising.
That's the hope.
What designs is Roman? See, that is what you did wrong. The girl needs to be in your band first, then ask her that question. Wow, that's not right. JBS Junk says, can you pause your store for the summer? You can. You could pause your store vacation mode, and it'll tell the potential buyer, hey, the seller's away until this date. If you buy this item, you're not going to get it until whatever. You can, sure.
Yeah, I've seen it on, well, actually, I saw it on Poshmark. One of our wonderful viewers who watches us is also following us on Poshmark. And they sent us a personal message letting us know, hey, you don't have to share my store this summer. I'm going to go on vacation mode for the whole summer. I'll be back on September 1st. So.
And Larry Todd has got here late, but better late than never. No One Design says, John, is it possible to part out a toilet seat after a return?
Ew, no.
Yeah, I think it depends on the stain.
Do it.
And if it's...
Stop right now.
Beard says, I was going to buy shoes from John, but his picture burned my hand.
It was probably my picture, actually.
Yeah, I thought it would be fun. See, we have fun with it. So we take the gallery photo using AI, have the shoes like sitting out in a open roadway, and then behind it something's on fire.
Mine are in a bowling alley because they're bowling shoes, and the bowling alley is on fire.
Another show where Jenna's going to punch John. Why were you going to punch me?
I wasn't going to punch you.
I don't know.
Today I haven't felt the need.
Mr. City says, I know a few local return pallet buyers, and the common denominator is that they all have multiple outlets moving the stuff. It's near impossible to get one-for-one sellable items. 50% is more like it. Multiple outlets of moving the stuff. Yeah. I can tell you that a lot of times it's more like 80%. What was it, like 75% of the items that you get in liquidation, at least from my experience, is sellable, whether it's used all the way up to brand new, and the other 25% is broken. Now you have to figure out, or missing key components. You got to figure out, can I part this out? You'll be very surprised the number of items that I would have thrown away had I not, and not made any money had I not parted it out. So then you part it out and go, oh, the motor in this is worth something, or the wheels on this has some value, and you just you see that other sellers have sold it, so you get it up there and list it. I love liquidation because you're not even if you are surprised with some items that are just thrashed, you can still make money. Debbie Shakur says, hi John and Jenna, I love all your videos and lives. I've not missed a one. Keep them coming. See, that's awesome.
Thank you, Debbie.
It's here's the thing. I guess I lose sight of this. The folks that are out there watching that never leave a comment, never pop up and say hi in the chat. And I sort of take that for granted. So I see a few and I'm thinking, well, despite we have 150 watch right now, and of course we get a lot of people watch after the fact. They can't always make the live. They never say anything, and we just don't realize that we do have people who enjoy the content. So thank you, Debbie, for being part of it all, and thank you for letting us know. So I appreciate that.
We appreciate you.
No One Design says, John is the only person I know that will consider toilet seat with friends. Hey, we can talk about anything here, most anything.
Yes, I sent out sealed boxes with Band-Aids today.
I can't say that.
Yes, I am.
Yes, here's what I will say. You have paper tape. Stop whining.
Negative, sir. Okay.
So you had to have that machine.
Paper tape is great, and I love it. Don't get me wrong, but there is a time and a box for paper tape. And if you saw the boxes I was dealing with today, they need paper tape.
They need help.
They need new boxes. I had to cut out pieces of boxes to put over these giant holes that somebody.
Yeah, some of these boxes that we
them.
have through liquidation need an exorcism.
Oh,
I'm not kidding.
Gosh.
It's like these people, they buy whatever item, and instead of like, opening it like a civilized human being, they're like tear it apart. And then so they're like, no, I'm returning this. So they put it back in the box. They throw gobs of tape over the damage that they created in the box.
It's insane.
Anybody who sells liquidation knows.
I mean, honestly, I love my paper tape machine. However, I still need 3-inch tape. If I could find 4-inch tape and it was affordable, I would do it.
But tape, if you sell liquidation, it's a love-hate thing, and it's like, oh my goodness, all this tape. It's nuts.
No, there's like 9 times out of 10 where I have to take off all of the tape that's already on it just to put the paper tape, because paper tape doesn't stick to regular tape. And so you have to remove that first to get it to stick.
Now, Jovial is questioning my integrity here a little bit. No, I did order it. I ordered it while she was gone. Because here's the thing. I saw that we had a couple rolls of the 3-inch tape. And I said, okay, I'm going to order it so that when she gets here, she'll have it. And then I ordered it. And it went to Virginia from California. And it's now back in Phoenix. So it should be here. USPS, they did their can't blame the seller. Can't blame the seller. But it is certainly one of those lost ground advantage packages.
Yes.
That it just happened to be our package. Had they done their job, she wouldn't be complaining about it right now.
Exactly. USPS, get your shit together.
Beard says, I don't trust eBay page view stats. I don't. If you ask me to put my life on the stats that eBay gives us, I couldn't do it. I could not. I cannot. I can't tell you if they're accurate or not. I know last year at this time, they were fudging the numbers. 1 week we had 1,000, impressions on an item. And then like 2 weeks later, we had like 500 impressions, but our page views for that item went up. And so for me, it's like, because they're not very transparent with their data, it's a reference point. Am I going to hang my hat on that? No, but like if I'm comparing 2 items, the blue and the orange toilet seat, the blue is saying it has 1,000 impressions this week. The orange one's only having 100. I'm going to consider that. I'm going to say, well, guess what? I think the orange isn't so hot. And that's why I would have like 90 toilet seats. I did not buy the remainder. I only have 10 orange ones that are here. The other 32 orange toilet seats were even at a lower price point, like $5 a piece. And I just said, you know what? I'm not buying those. So that's data that I can use.
To his wife.
No, I guess I'm married to eBay because my wife on eBay said that I only had 100 impressions.
Wow.
Pensacola
you
Flipper.
You are married to eBay, actually.
Pensacola Flipper says I have a 3.0 and I sell clothing. There you go.
A 3.0.
That's a conversion rate. So you're making it work. You're making it work. But my number's going up. It was at 1.9, went to 2.4. So I guess there are some items that could be holding things back even more that I need to get more aggressive with. Samantha says, what I missed, lost power?
No.
Hopefully you didn't. Beard says, hamster wheel is off track today. Hamster had a stroke.
Oh no. Your hamster or
so Paul Rose says, like Biff, I'm in collectibles from 70s to present. My conversion rates are currently 7% on the main store, 5.6 on second store. Both were higher until very recently. Constantly tinkering for views. Yeah, got to keep working on those old listings. Biff says, I think the eBay page view stats are reliable. When I do the reverse calculation of sales and conversion rate, they add up. Impressions, on the other hand, much more mysterious. Yeah, I only use that when I have to maybe compare 2 similar items. Bearded Picker says, Jenna, do you get workers' comp if you get crushed by the Leaning Tower of Crapper seeds?
I'm telling you that today I almost got hit in the face by a box falling off of shelf 6.
And she never bothered to come get me. I would have helped her with it.
I was not a happy person this morning.
Let's see. Kind of going down. Biff says, I haven't buyers learned to tune out those rows of non-search items that eBay shows. Just like on Yelp, I have learned to scroll right past the sponsored placement at the top.
Yeah.
The problem is you have people with such short attention spans that they click into an item, because this is what happened to me. Somebody bought my item, was labeled as used. I put in two places that it is a used item, and they thought that they were buying new, because probably what they did was they bought this new one. They saw my item pop up on the screen that comes up after they've done paid for it, and they're like, "Wait, I can get this for $20 cheaper. I'm going to cancel this one. I'm going to go to that." Not reading my listing saying it's used. Now they get it, and they're like, "How come this is used? Where's the rest of this?" Well, I didn't advertise the rest of it. I advertised what you got, and they left me a positive feedback, which was negative with the photo, by the way. So John Rad Relic says, if someone is charging for shitting, they are not worth buying from. Hey, this is just for the device. I'm not telling them they're going to be successful using it. Beard says, if I skip them, Biff, not my search item, and it is way overpriced. Devon Short says, hi, John and Jenna. Thanks for being here.
I feel like I haven't seen you forever.
Samantha says, John, have you been to any estate sales lately or have any scheduled? I don't tend to go to estate sales very often. I don't have good luck at estate sales. It's a lot of the type of items that I avoid at yard sales are usually at estate sales. I'll get lucky once in a while when I go and maybe find a few things. But because I don't have a lot of luck and we have a lot of yard sales here, I generally don't go to estate sales. Now, if we didn't have as many yard sales, I probably would go to more. Susan Phelps says, I'm retiring in 2 years. My husband is making great money. Retirement money, just a little icing on the cake. There you go. Icing on the cake is the best way to sell on eBay. If it's just icing on the cake, then no pressure at all. Beer says, they are the leftovers. Tons of money made already on the first 30,000 pieces sold. Not sure what.
Talking about the big girl panties.
Well, Big Dre says, I think the reason I'm getting more sales is because I'm offering free shipping on orders over $60. I'm also getting a lot of international sales because of it, which I haven't had since last year. And
nice.
I would do more of the free shipping if it wasn't for this thing right here. I was going to list these toilet seats on the abandoned listing. So this is probably from an abandoned seller on Amazon. And there's no listings up. I was going to go on there and list these items. But but Amazon makes you ship to Alaska, and they make you ship to Hawaii. And I went in and said, okay, what is this going to cost me if I do, let's say, a free shipping model? Because they were selling these for $99 and weren't selling a whole lot, right, on Amazon, based on Keepa's stats. And guess what? It was going to cost me every bit $100 to ship to Hawaii or Alaska.
Yeah. Why don't we just have a shower shitter on us?
So for that reason, I decided just not to do it on Amazon there. Let's see. We've got the goat is in the house. Stop the madness, John. No money in reselling. No, there's no money in reselling.
None.
Yeah, Pete is proof that there's no money in reselling. But yes, I got to tell you, YouTubers, we get on YouTube, we talk about sales and making money, and I am sure that maybe Tech and Sports is up there, but Pete, this man, he makes his money on YouTube. He does well he makes his money on eBay. Sorry, Pete. He makes his money on eBay. He does make a little bit on YouTube, but I promise you, he is a reseller first. And he does a very, very, very good job of it, despite all the success he's had on YouTube. It could be so easy for him to just, wing the reselling part of it and then go to YouTube and just make that work, because he's made it work. Probably can make a lot more than he has on YouTube. But the man is a reseller at heart. And so, I got to tell you, there is money in reselling, and there's many, many different ways of doing it. So thanks for being here, Pete. Thanks for doing more than showing us your eyes today and just being a part of the conversation. I think it's awesome. Chastity says, got my sale for hitting the like. First for the hand puppets to sell from last week's pickup.
Oh, good. I remember she told us about those last
hand
week.
Puppets. That'd be fun.
She bought some hand puppets.
Maybe you should get some hand puppets on the show. No? Okay.
I'm no good enough. My hand's got too much.
Silver Hair says, listed 2,400 electric outlets, sold 8 yesterday, only 2,392 left to go. Woohoo. Now, did you buy these when you bought the toothbrush holders?
Toothbrush holders?
He bought a bunch of toothbrush holders.
Oh.
So, John says, I don't know how James does it. Guy has tens of thousands of listings of media. No thanks. You know what? It's a lot of time, a lot of storage. So, a big place to put all that stuff, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and money, a lot of capital invested in that. And it's a numbers game. eBay has always been a math game. You can make big stores work no matter what you're selling. You just got to put up with having to navigate through those big numbers. I don't think I could do it. So anybody who's able to pull that off, kudos. Samantha says, wait a minute, Jenna, John can create a cooking channel. Teach us how to barbecue.
That's what
I've always thought that, but it's like, no. I don't have enough time in the day. I mean,
well, no, I mean, not right now, but maybe when we're older and
maybe when
you can put some more time into not being out in the garage.
I'll be like that cowboy Ken Rollins with put on my chaps and cowboy hat and run outside.
You're not a cowboy.
Yeah, well, it'd be a fun show trying to be one. And with my recipes, that would be a way to do it. It was Kent Rollins, I think his name is. But yeah, that guy's pretty good. Nonetheless, Jenna did buy me a new toy for the barbecue, and it's a gravity fed. It's one I've been eyeing like the last 2 years, and it's like pretty cool. So I'll be getting rid of my Blackstone and my current smoker here very soon, and I will be doing Facebook Marketplace to get those things listed, sold, and out of here to create room for this.
Yeah, because it's a smoker, a griddle,
and a grill, and it's charcoal and wood. So the hopper, you can control it through the app, and it only uses what it needs to maintain a certain temperature.
I also bought the pizza oven that you can put inside of it too.
Yeah.
So he could make himself some.
Why is it just for me though? You want to eat it?
Well, I can, but being that I don't eat the same things you do.
Well, and then I'm not going to use it that often.
Well, you use it enough.
Brad Relic says, I wouldn't have to. Megan packs all of our orders, but I think she would revolt.
If she had a negative 7 and 9, I would revolt.
Samantha says, Jenna is messing up John's consideration speech. You guys are too cute.
Sorry. I do that a lot.
It's the great thrifter, Charlie Brown, is with us. Says, ain't no reason to be mad. Everyone has what works for them. If it's stuff you enjoy listing and you make enough to be happy, do it. If I followed every advice given by every YouTuber, I'd go insane. And
That's
excellent.
Facts.
Excellent. I mean, the idea of watching these channels is to glean, like, you know what, that might work. For maybe I have a bunch of these things, these widgets that I haven't been able to sell, but you know what, I'm going to try that. Right? You get bits and pieces. Does that change your entire, business model? No, it shouldn't. You're going to find things that work for you and put them in place. And maybe they'll only work for that item. Once you sell out, it doesn't work for anything else, but you got the value out of whatever show you watched. And hopefully we can provide some ideas to people that are out there, maybe trying to move certain types of items and are willing to try different things. Let's see. The people I follow might not work for you. May not. May not. Samantha says, John, I really see you as a war, sports, or coins memorabilia reseller. Those items are not too big, manageable. Have you considered doing more of that? Find your guy or guys. So I got to tell you, if I could come across, and I say this all the time, but if I can come across the war memorabilia, like the uniforms, the patches, the hats, the things that Archie was able to find, I would be like, this is great. This is good stuff. We made a good amount of money a few summers ago on her account, just selling the patches. They were fun. You got to learn a lot about some of these things that were from other countries, and it was really cool, right? Just getting in there, and you can't find it on eBay. So now you're determined to get out on Google and like try to find out, what is this thing? And so you're thinking, because I can't find it on eBay, maybe it has some value. So you're really fired up to learn about it. And that was a fun experience. But the problem is sourcing. It always boils down to sourcing. Sourcing seems to ruin all these fun categories to sell in. Sports. I wanted to turn her store into a sports niche. And I realized I'm only going to have like 20, 30 items here at any given period because I can't find enough stuff at yard sales or locally to maintain a decent sized store for sports. So therefore I just nixed the idea. So yeah, there's a lot of fun things that I could sell, but it's all about sourcing. I think that's the biggest key to making anything work. Beard says, John, you're going to wake up dead one morning. She is the prime suspect, self-defense. That's funny. Susan says, ship jewelry easy peasy. I'm 59 and ain't shipping no heavy boxes. Yeah. We're going to get to that realization one day. We ain't there quite yet. Rob Something says, your business goals play a large part too. If you're happy with $14,000 monthly, work towards that. If you want $100,000, you need to do what's necessary to get there. No one size fits all.
That is right.
Right. So I realized that there's a limitation to what I'm probably able to do here in this location with just the two of us, right? Between the time and the space. Now, if I'm going to make a jump, it's going to involve one or two more employees, and it's going to involve another location. Now, that jump is better be more than double. It's got to be triple in my mind with the amount of help that I have, and I think I have enough stuff I could probably buy to make that work. I'm not quite ready in my mind to make that jump, but it's got to be significant. So going from like $14,000 a month on a good month to 35 to 40,000 in sales, that would be where I need to be, and I'm just not 100% confident that I'm there yet. So maybe I'm holding myself back, but that's just kind of the way I look at it. I'll get there at some point. Big Dre says, the reason I can ship late in the day is because I use a contracted USPS drop-off center located inside of a gas station that scans the items, and they are closed. I'll relabel packages to FedEx. Okay. As long as it works. I mean, I'd hate for you to get some defects, late shipment defects because they're not delivering on their end. Says, I also have a contracted FedEx drop-off center located inside of a Walgreens, open 24/7. They also scan the packages. Mm-hmm. So you got a system that works. You found local resources to make your situation work. No Design says, I'll stay put money on Larry. I'll still put money on Larry Todd through because old money wins new money all the time, because old money was new money that evolved into old money that makes any sense. No, I knew I should have skipped that comment.
You should have. I think Ken just does that to
he does it to mess me up. Samantha says, read Jenna's shirt. That's the answer. Freedom.
This is actually where we actually attend church.
Nicole Nichols Smith says, I probably don't do enough research on my items. I price based upon how I feel about it. Most of the time, eBay says others sell the same items lower. I lower my price, but items seem set longer. Yeah. Got to get the key word you said was feel. You got to get your feelings out of the equation when it comes to the monetary decisions you make in your business. And monetary decisions can be something as simple as what you're buying and what you're pricing it for. So if you take the time, just go on to Terapeak, see what it sold for in the last 3 years. Now, pay more attention to recency than what happened 2 years ago, but get your items priced accordingly, because the whole name of the game is not we're going to open a museum. We're not trying to build inventory that's neat or things we like. These things should have no real value in our mind beyond what it can make us. And it's only as valuable as what your buyers are willing to pay. And that data is telling you what buyers are willing to pay. Susan says, I do all the listing first and then take photos of everything and edit. Love the second step. Just a great way to end the process. There you go. You found a way to make it tolerable. Yeah. Big Dre says, a few days ago, I declined a $70 offer on a Batman comic book because at $130, I have all the cheapest price. And today it sold for $95. So there you go. And that's to say, if you have an item you're probably not going to get too much of, then there's nothing wrong with, say, I'm drawing a line. This is the best I'm going to do. Counter at 95. If they take it, great. If they don't, well, then I'm going to keep listing it for 130 and see what I can get. SCG Collectibles. Toilets always depend on the depends. Well, actually, toilets are going to go out of business if depends are used more than they are. IdeaPad says, does Terapeak work for everyone on mobile? Still doesn't show up for me, and I even tried uninstall, reinstall the app. That's interesting because normally this might kind of go hand in hand what we've experienced over the last year and a half. Like one person would have one version of the app, and someone else would have a totally different version. That's interesting. You should have it on your app under product research. It won't say Terapeak though on the app. Dre says, I've also had a lot of successful upsells this month. One was a buyer that sent an $8 offer on a tie I had. So I told him I'll do 10, but I have a lot more ties available and I won't charge shipping. So, you work something out with the buyer, right? That's the way to, so many sellers want to avoid even interacting with the buyer. And I think that is a mistake. Vinyl Rob says, can you direct me to comic book resellers? I'd like to see how they get down. I don't know too many.
Well, do you know any?
I don't know any personally.
Okay, you said I don't know too many.
I've seen comic book stores. But I don't know where to direct you.
We don't know of any.
Big Dre says, I offer totally free local shipping to international buyers because they still have to pay eBay international shipping. Some accept the offer. Will still cancel their order because high shipping. Yeah, because you're only shipping it to the U.S.
Wait, go back up. What Beard said? Not there. No.
What, up here? I can't read every comment Beard puts.
Why?
Shelf 7 and 9 got a vacation. Shelf 6 said, hold my beer.
Yeah, for real. It was literally spitting out the big giant
Beard
items.
says, going to start mansplaining for John. He is 30 to 4 minutes late and lost. I'm not lost. Look, I always bring the show home.
He has been found.
Juan says, a solid weekend and looking for a good week. There you go.
Nice.
Build off of that. Mike Gerda says, conversion rates don't seem to matter. January was 2.19. April was 1.94. My sales were the same. This month is much lower than last month, but on track to do the same, if not a little more. There you go.
Todd said yes, same buy as a toothbrush holder.
Okay. Michelle Watson says, working and trying to learn every day challenged. It's a challenge. This whole game is a challenge.
It literally takes, we learn something new every single day. And we've been doing this a long time. Well, he has been doing this a long time.
John Gaynor says, hi, Jenna and John. Listen to the podcast over the weekend. Really good stuff, except for the F-bombs. Otherwise, down-to-earth information one can use in understanding selling on eBay. Thanks, thanks, John. I appreciate the feedback. Yeah, sometimes, there's some emotion involved and
passion.
Yeah, and it's not the norm. I can tell you that. Nature Made in Utah says, been a carnivore for 1 year and I love my meat. Nothing beats posting and eating a 24-ounce steak. Yeah, steaks are awesome. You got to cook them right. And you know that you've made a good steak if you're not grabbing for the A1. If you're reaching for the A1, you screwed up. Paul Rose, John Miller, the barbecue thriller. Flipping burgers ain't easy. It's a hit channel in the making.
Oh, wait. Jovial had sent you an email on this, so I wanted
eBay is going to incorporate Hawaii, Puerto Rico, and Alaska into the eBay International Shipping Program in the third quarter. Yeah, I did get the email. I have the link right here for the video in my the tab over. I just have to put some time into it. From the time I saw that to the time we started this live, I had to get a lot of work
because I had to yell at him from the other room. You have mail.
Yeah, I don't always get to my emails. Many times I get to my emails like late at night. One Design says, in order for John to move into another category from his current BC of age, because of age, he needs to start building that store on his second store. By the time he gets ancient, he will have this up and running. Are you sure Roman hasn't hijacked your account?
I think he has.
Oh, Samantha says,
his crackheads.
have a safe and good evening, all. Have a good week. Hope to hear from you all Friday. My supper's ready. Pasta time. Mother cooked smile. There you go.
Yes. Well, enjoy. Have a good week.
Awesome. Paul Rose says, I have about 1,400 already photoed, weighed, measured, ready to list. Sure you don't want to help me with it, Jenna? Nope. I don't want to do it either. Yeah, I just got to do it. Oh. And you know what? It seems overwhelming. Daunting. It seems overwhelming, but bring in, a tub full. Don't even count them. Just put a tub full in the room and get those listed and put them away and you're done. Jovial says, to be honest, I don't know there was such a thing as orange toilet seats. Target those seats to those who decorate their bathrooms and sports teams that have the color orange. Maybe I'll throw some hashtags of those teams.
You should, because like our friends have a couple of their bathrooms are decorated in football teams.
But I mean, look, these aren't actual toilet seats. Like,
no, they're shower.
Yeah, the shower
toilet chairs.
Like a 4-in-1.
They're a 4-in-1, but they're for the shower. They're not for the actual toilet.
The 4-in-1 where I can't quite figure out all 4 of them, what they are. One is for the shower. The other one's for the toilet. Maybe you can, because the pan is underneath, you can't make it to the toilet. But I don't know what the last one is, to be honest with you. But I think by the time you get to that point, unless you're dealing with a surgery situation, by the time you get to that age where you're needing a toilet safety seat, you're probably not trying to make your bathroom look like the Denver Broncos. I don't know.
I mean, you just don't know.
Paul Rose says, I learned something new every day and forgot 5 things I used to know.
That's a fact for me.
Susan says, I have a Marine jacket from the 70s from my Bill. Heavy wool, not for sale, though. But I'm willing to bet if you did list it, it would probably go for pretty good money. Cool. Tree Cat, for those who need support, free Tree Cat personal training via new link on our homepage. Ooh. So go check out treecat.io. I think it's IO, not TO. IO. And that'll get you to their homepage. But if you want a faster route, you can also click the link down below and get started there as well. Claro50 Iffy says, hello from Cheryl in PA. Enjoy watching your show while I'm cleaning items and listing. Well, awesome.
Nice.
Thanks, Cheryl. I appreciate you checking in and letting us know. I mean, it's the silent folks that I really wish we could actually hear more from. So thank you for checking in with us.
We like to hear from everyone.
Everyone. I'm not saying the folks that are here, but the silent folks. There's a lot of folks that are like
who listen and watch, and they just and I'm guilty of it on other channels too. Like right now I'm a little consumed with the Karen Reed trial, but when I'm not, I do watch other channels and I don't participate in the chat. I'm usually just there and I'm doing something else.
Karen Reed, isn't that trial over by now?
No, sadly, it's they haven't even gotten over to the state side yet. What are you doing?
I'm trying to get a link to Beard's channel here so that we can get.
Why didn't you just tell me to do it?
I didn't tell you to do it. I'm doing it right now. So if you guys, we're going to be a few more minutes, but after we're done, I put the link in the chat. And
Rhonda.
Yeah, in the link in the chat, and go on head on over to Bearded Picker's channel when we're done. And there's a lot of good information in E-Myth Revisited. I'm not sure if I'm going to get. I'll probably linger. I might jump on there, but there's a lot of good information that a lot of resellers can use that's in that book. So
thank you,
talking
Paul.
about that. Let's see a couple more things. SCG Collectibles, loving the Tree Cat. Thanks for all the help you have given me. Yeah.
Yay.
So check out Tree Cat, guys. They sponsor the channel. If you're into trying to get your items off of eBay Island, where only people that are shopping on eBay can see your items, go and check it out and get your items over to Mercari and Poshmark. Noah Design says, okay, fine, I'll start commenting more, but I'm kind of silent by nature.
Yeah.
Paul says, I love the shirt. Can you take You can take our toilet seats, but you'll never take our freedom.
That is right. You can buy these at a nice pretty penny.
So there's no right or wrong way to do this business. If you can make long tail items, low demand items work in like high volume, and you've been doing it, you put your heart and soul into it and a lot of money and time, you know what? Nothing but respect there. But there's going to be people who are trying to get this quickly going, right? And they don't have that kind of time or resources. And that's where, you know, I think that there are other possibilities for new people. And if you're going to make content out there saying, hey, this is working great for me, put that caveat out there that, you know what, it's going to take a lot of investment. So don't go quitting your day job until you get this thing going. But you never see that. But even my way, it's not going to be the right way for a lot of people. If you just don't have the wherewithal to deal with the heavier items, the larger boxes, it's probably not for you. But figuring all this out is yet another example of how flipping ain't easy. And I want you guys to have an excellent start to this week. Get those sales guys. Lord knows I haven't gotten too many today, but that doesn't mean that they're not out there. I'm going to keep plugging away. And if your sales are kind of slowing down, you keep plugging away as well, no matter what you're selling. And we will talk to you guys very soon.
Have a